Chairman Jim Walsh here for the weekly Chairman's Update. As you know, our current point in public policy, our policy project, is the one that focuses on immigration policy. And while immigration policy is primarily a federal issue, the law and the enforcement is primarily a federal in nature, there are state level elements to the enforcement of immigration policy, particularly with how the state deals with what are called detainers and other legal actions related to enforcing immigration law, and how that interacts with state law enforcement agencies and local law enforcement agencies. This is a complicated matter that's been, frankly, made more complicated and troubled by the actions of the current governor and state attorney general. But it has been in the news lately, and it has current urgency because, of course, the tragic story of Washington State Trooper Christopher Gadd, who was killed in a vehicular accident involving an illegal immigrant. There's no other way to say it. The person who killed Trooper Gadd was in this country and in this state illegally. And this has brought home to Washington the point that the lack of any kind of border security on the southern border, or really any border of the United States, is causing hardship and trouble and crime here in the United States and here in Washington. Of course, we're seeing issues all around the country similar to this tragedy that happened with Trooper Gadd, the young nursing student in Georgia, Laken Riley, killed by an illegal alien. And we've seen other stories with people all around the country. This is a growing problem, and it's the result of bad decisions by the Biden administration in D.C., and again here locally, bad decisions by the Inslee administration and State Attorney General Bob Ferguson, who have not helped enforce federal immigration policy, immigration law, again, particularly with regard to recognizing detainers. Those are a kind of warrant issued by federal authorities. We need to enforce immigration law. Now, there have been some moves in Olympia at the state level to try to clarify our state's approach to immigration law by getting rid of the so-called sanctuary state proclamations or sanctuary city policies. State Senator Phil Fortunato has been one who's promoted good reforms. Others have too. And it's worth noting that these proposals by Fortunato and others would be state law. They are bills. A lot of the slipshod, sloppy, imprecise policy about immigration here at the state level has not been law. It's been done by edict or executive order by the current governor, and in some cases, local ordinances passed by city councils or equivalent organizations. We need clear state law in Washington, that Washington will recognize and enforce immigration law and policy from the federal government. We need better clarity at the federal government level, that the federal government will recognize and enforce federal immigration law and policy. We at the Republican Party in Washington State welcome immigrants to our state and to our country, legal immigrants. We need to recognize the distinction between legal and illegal immigration to our country and to our state. All migrants are not the same. The ones who come here properly, legally, ethically, to contribute to our workforce, to contribute to our economy, are valuable assets in our state and our country. Those who will break the law to come to the United States or come to Washington, while they may be good people in their hearts and well-meaning, are breaking the law. by coming here, and we cannot pretend that there's no difference between legal and illegal immigration. We need to enforce the law. Without the proper, fair, and prudent enforcement of law, we are a lawless society. And without enforcement of our immigration policy at our borders, we're not a country at all. We're not a nation. The United States and Washington State are a nation and a state of laws, not of people. We need to enforce the law, and at the Washington State Republican Party, we will advocate for enforcing immigration law at the federal and state level, welcome legal immigrants, and enforce the law as it should be enforced, fairly and equitably. This is an important issue. You will continue to hear about it this year. And currently, our project and policy to articulate a clear immigration law and supportive immigration law is right now one of the top policy issues we're dealing with in our party. That's it for this week. I'll talk to you again next week. In the meantime, stay strong and be well.